Hello, everybody. I'm Tom Pinder. I'm the secretary for the communications group of the Society of Sports Therapists. Today, we've got quite a special interview for our 30th anniversary. Today, we are interviewing Geoffrey, who was the original secretary of the Society of Sports Therapists. Welcome, Geoffrey. Do you want to introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself as well.
Thank you, Tom. Yes, well, I'm Geoffrey Summers, and at the time that the birth of the society was in the brain of Professor Graham Smith, I was chief executive of the Professional Jockeys Association. And if memory serves me right, it was one of the jockeys, former champion Peter Scudamore, I'm fairly certain, came to me one day and said, "There's an excellent rehabilitation centre at Lillishall." Scu was based in Herefordshire, so it wasn't too far away, and national hunt jockeys always getting injured. He had discovered this magical centre which was helping jockeys to get fit again in the quickest possible time and earn again. And so I said, great, okay, I'll make contact, and that's how it started. So I met with Graham and we set up a system for professional jockeys to be referred to the Lillishall Centre when they had a need for medical rehabilitation. So that really, Tom, is how the relationship with Graham and myself really started.
Yeah, cool. Can you just tell us a bit about your time at Lillishall and sort of how the conversation started, how you in particular got in touch with Graham and how you sort of helped, if you like, to mould what the society is today?
Sure, yeah. I was actually on the treatment bench myself with Graham from time to time because I'd fallen off a horse and had a back injury. And while he was sort of manipulating me and pulling me about, he began to tell me about the ethos of starting this society, which would sort of professionalise sports therapy, really, I suppose, in a phrase. I think that the catalyst was certainly football, and it was to progress from trainers running on the pitch with a bucket and a sponge into a much more scientific and properly organised group of specialist sports therapists. Knowing my background and the fact that I'm a chartered secretary, FCIS, Graham asked me if I would help to form the society along with the founder members who were like-minded, Keith Warden, who of course has been there throughout the 30 years and been a tremendous staunch supporter and activist for the society. He at the time was with Tottenham Hotspur, and Paul Darby, who was the physio for Wolverhampton Wanderers. And I recall meetings on Graham's treatment bench. I recall going up to Carlisle one Sunday afternoon to meet with him and Paul at a hotel which Wolverhampton used to use when they played Carlisle, no doubt. And a neighbour of mine looking over her fence and saying, "Where are you off to Sunday afternoon from Oxfordshire?" And I casually said, "Oh, Carlisle." And those were the sort of early get-togethers that really formed the kernel for constructing and taking the society into an organisation.
Yeah, cool. How long were you with the society for? How long were you working at?
I helped them out for 10 years. I mean, it was always, it was an honorary position for me. You know, I did my job in the daytime and did whatever was necessary for the society. Meetings of the committee of the council were on a Sunday in various locations, often in Luton, I seem to recall.
Yeah.
And I helped to really draft the constitution, and during that 10 years to look after the governance of the society, taking the minutes of council meetings, AGMs, attending conferences, and really helping them in the background on the administrative side so that they could get on with planning the university courses and the various courses that Graham was running for members of the society.
Yeah. So as I understand it, when you first joined the society, there was a council rather than a board, which there is today. So could you just tell us a bit about how what the early years of the society were like, and how it might have changed over those 10 years that you were with the society?
Sure, yeah. It was a council, and it was quite small to begin with. And as I say, the original catalyst was certainly association football. But then it began to widen as more sports were brought in and interesting. I recall Kate Cady, who I think has also been very instrumental with the society coming in. And Kate was one of the first to bring in sports outside of football. If I remember rightly, she was involved with ice hockey in Swindon, and also was a professional sports therapist herself. In fact, Keith Walden and I formed a business called Up and Running Sports Injuries Clinics, and Kate was in fact employed by us at that time in the Swindon clinic. And Keith still runs that even to this day. So the other sports began to come in, and that, of course, was vitally important. One of the biggest hurdles in the early stages was undoubtedly recognition. Mm-hmm. And I have to pay compliment for Graham for bravely taking this forward in the early days. After all, he is a chartered physiotherapist, and his own chartered body were very nervous and I believe really sort of anti in the early days about this upstart society specialising in sports therapy. But Graham stuck to his guns, and along with other colleagues on the council, really fought a very brave battle to achieve this recognition. And it's wonderful to see how that developed during that first 10 years, and how the membership of the society grew throughout the whole of the United Kingdom. And it's great credit to those early guys who were involved, without any question.
Yeah. So you obviously saw what the society was like when you started. You obviously have seen how it's grown and what it is today. What are your thoughts in terms of what it is today, and did you ever imagine it would be such an organisation like it is today, or did you envisage a much sort of smaller, if you like, and precise professional body? Or
I in the early days, I thought it was going to be quite a sort of niche organisation, but it was very easy to be carried along with the enthusiasm of Graham and Keith and Paul in those early days, and others, to actually get the recognition and the professionalism of the society members. And the courses that were run throughout the country. I remember a number at Keele University in the early days, and then I was there still in the beginnings of getting in with the universities and developing the course. Now, the society itself had its own 3-year diploma course, and that was very successful and was marketed extremely well, and the take-up was good. But of course, the breakthrough was really getting into the university network and getting the accreditation for the degree courses in sports science and sports therapy, which of course has been the huge success in carrying the society into the next phase of its development. I mean, the final, I think, recognition will be if they can really get something akin to a chartered recognition for sports therapists. Yeah. And certainly the society should be the lead body in achieving that.
Mm-hmm. Fab. Is there anything else you would like to add? Is there any sort of funny stories or anything, or memories that you might want to share with us from your time with the society?
I'm sure there must have been, but apart from winging up to Carlisle on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it was a most enjoyable period of 10 years for me. I know it was a part-time thing, but something I was happy to take on, and my employers at the time were happy for me to do it. it benefited the profession of jockeys that I was involved in those early days. And it's great to see how it has moved on and developed and is now really widened to any athletic activity and sporting achievement. And it's great to see, and good luck for the next 30 years and onwards.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for talking to us today. It's been a pleasure to speak to you.
It's been a great pleasure, Tom, and thank you very much for getting me involved.
No worries. Thanks again, Jeff.
All the best.